Stay with me, Shabnam Sahi on Sunrise, because on the other side of the break, I'll be chit-chatting with Dr Abbas Zaidi, former consultant cardiologist with Cardiac Risk in the Young, CRY, which is a charity Sunrise passionately supports and champions. Good morning. Good morning, it's 10:22. You're on Sunrise Radio with me, Shabnam Sahi. It gives me great pleasure to say a big warm welcome to Dr Abbas Zaidi, a former CRY Research Fellow and now consultant cardiologist at the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff. Dr Zaidi, welcome to Sunrise.
Hi, Shabnam. Thanks for the introduction.
Tell us briefly about how you first came to be involved with Cardiac Risk in the Young, or CRY, which, of course, is our charity partner Sunrise Radio's charity partner for 2023.
So I first came to be involved with CRY back in 2010 when I was a relatively junior cardiology trainee, and coming up through the ranks of my training, and I was looking for a period of research, which many of us do take a time out of our program to do some research. And I had heard about CRY's work, and it's an area of cardiology that I've been interested in for a while, sudden death in young people, sports cardiology. And so I applied for the job, and I was shortlisted, and I got interviewed by Steve Cox, who is the CEO of CRY, and by Professor Sanjay Sharma, who I'm sure you know is the CRY's lead cardiologist. And I was fortunate enough to be appointed to the research fellow post, and I then relocated from Wales down to London, to St George's Hospital in London for 3 years to do research there.
Dr. Zaidi, you're clearly someone who is not just a consultant cardiologist, but you take your work very seriously, because I know you recently ran the London Marathon for CRY, and you've raised more than £3,000 already, hitting an incredible time of 3 hours, 16 minutes, I believe. Tell us a bit about the experience and why you wanted to run for CRY.
Yeah, thank you, Shabnam. Yeah, I'll start with why I wanted to run for CRY, and it seemed like a no-brainer to me that if I was going to raise money for a charity, then it had to be CRY, because CRY have given me so much over the years. They funded my research. I travelled far and wide with CRY to do screenings. I met so many great people, and I learned so many skills that I have used in my day-to-day clinical practice ever since then. Invaluable and unique skills like sports cardiology, such as conditions that can cause sudden death in young people. So I wanted to do it for CRY, and I'm really pleased that I did. In terms of the experience, it was actually a really great day. I really enjoyed it. I've run 3 marathons now in my life, not loads, but this is the first one that I can honestly say I enjoyed the whole thing. Everything went really well. I'm sure any runners will recognise that. No. As soon as you start running, whether you're feeling it or not, and I just felt that I was feeling it. Things were flowing, and it was a great day. Really, really wonderful day.
Is this your personal best? 3 hours, 16 minutes?
It is. It is my personal best.
Fantastic.
I'm really happy that I'm not over the hill yet. I'm 45, and I'm pleased that I can produce a personal best at this advanced age. So I was really happy with it. Really happy.
Tell me, how important are large fundraising events such as this one for charities like CRY, who rely solely on public donations? And also briefly explain to us, if you could please, how these funds are used at CRY.
Yeah, so these fundraising events are really important for charities like CRY, because a large proportion of the funding stream for these charities comes from public events like this. So charities can be critically dependent on the funds that come from these events. And it's not only the fundraising, it's the raising of awareness that goes with it. So let's say 100 people sponsored me, then 100 people will have seen my CRY fundraising page.
Absolutely.
They will have read about the fact that CRY raises funding and raises awareness and the profile of sudden deaths in young people. So people will have learnt about CRY's work when they have visited my page. So it's raising awareness. In terms of how the money will be spent, a lot of it will be spent on screening, which is, of course, a large part of what CRY does. They organise many screenings up and down the land on a regular basis, and that, of course, takes money, because CRY subsidises these screenings. The money will go towards research. So CRY always has a cohort of research fellows, and all of the research activities which further the understanding of conditions which can cause sudden death in young people, that all takes funding. And then CRY provides a variety of other services, such as bereavement support to the families of individuals who have died. And there are specialist groups such as the My Heart group, which provides support for people who have been identified to have a condition that may predispose to sudden death. So there's a wide range of activities which will be supported by the money that the fundraising has achieved.
The UK's biggest station mix. Sunrise Radio.
I'm in conversation with Dr Abbas Zaidi, former CRY research fellow and now consultant cardiologist at the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff. The reason why we at Sunrise are passionate about supporting CRY is because it is about saving young lives. Tragically, every week in the UK, 12 young people under the age of 35 die from a previously undiagnosed heart condition. So how is CRY's work helping to prevent these deaths?
So a large part of this will be the screening that we've talked about. It will be funding screenings up and down the land. There are screenings probably most days of the week that CRY organises and subsidises. So these screening events, if you screen 100 people, then a handful of those people will be found to have some anomalies on their screening test, and they'll be referred for further investigations. And from those that are referred, a small proportion may turn out to have a potentially life-threatening condition. And if that condition is identified, then we can prevent the individual from putting themselves at risk. And the funding will also go towards research, as we mentioned. And the research is really important because by furthering our understanding of the conditions that predispose to sudden death, we can improve our ability to detect conditions and to prevent those sudden deaths.
Dr Zaidi, I understand you are a consultant cardiologist based in Wales now. So are you still involved with CRY's screening program?
I am. My involvement now is less on the ground during the actual screenings. My involvement now really is taking those referrals. So in the south-east Wales area and in the Mid Wales area, if a CRY screening takes place, then I'm very happy to accept those referrals. So if someone attends the screening, has perhaps an abnormality detected on an ECG and needs further investigations such as a cardiac MRI scan or a heart monitor or a treadmill test, then I'm very happy to see those referrals in my clinic. And I do regularly see the CRY referrals. And as I mentioned, some of them a small proportion of those will turn out to have a potentially life-threatening condition. So that's my ongoing involvement with CRY's work.
I'm in conversation with Dr Abbas Zaidi, former CRY research fellow and now consultant cardiologist at the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff. My last question to you, Dr Zaidi. Now, can you tell me what CRY and its commitment to preventing young sudden deaths means to you as a cardiac specialist?
Yeah, I mean, CRY's work